Howdy, folks. I dang near was a minute late. Okay, I said I'd be back within the hour. I was wrong, because everything that could go wrong did. But I'll sit here for a little bit and let some folks stream on in. Forgive me being quiet in the process. Just seems kind of pointless to talk unless somebody is here. Although this video will be viewed even after it's live. I don't know how long it stays on Facebook. It stays on YouTube forever, unless it's deleted. Let me let a few more folks stream in here. I'll keep repeating that because if you're seeing it live, then you'll know why I haven't started yet. If you're watching from Facebook, you can connect on Facebook. On YouTube, if you like. I'm told the video quality is usually better on Facebook. Dang it. YouTube usually has the better video quality. If you want to find me on YouTube, just look under Charles Deering. You should be able to find me, and the name I go by there on YouTube is Charles Deering Scroll. But you should be able to find me under Charles Deering. Just make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you'll be notified. If you'd like to connect on Facebook for whatever reason, I go by the Charles Deering, and that's all one word. Herb Hooper says it looks like a good one for me to start to learn how to do this again on. Sweet. Hello, Wesley. Hello, Roger. And hello, Steve Neeblin. Steve, I briefly saw a notification of your message, but I had to start the live stream, so I wasn't able to act on it. But I'll get with you in a little bit on that. Appreciate folks being here. Things just got a little crappier for me because so far I'm not able to get my daughter here for Christmas because her dad's a real winner. And yes, I mean that sarcastically. I have failed as a father in helping my daughter get here, so I gonna get back going on this and keep it as positive as I can. Just gonna jump around again. If you're just joining for the first time, this is the last area I'll be cutting because of how brittle it will be. And let's get going. I apologize for the downer aspect of that. I just, y'all know me, I'm too honest and too out there, too much of an open book. All right, thank you, Steve, and let Matt know I'm sorry for stepping on his show. I'm not familiar with all the shows out there. I am trying to do my own thing, and I'm sure he knows that. But I don't like to take any of his viewers either. But yeah, I don't know what to say. But tell Matt I said howdy. I never intend to step on people's shows, even though the platforms are out there for all of us, but I still like to help support other people. Hello, Dale. Hey, Mike. Says here just for a half hour early night tonight for me. I hear you. Appreciate y'all being here. I'll get going as soon as I take my swig of Dr. Pepper. Hello, Pat H. Long time no see. I know, Steve, I'm not really worried. That could only be a rumor mill thing. I'm not worried. I just, I do support people out there, and I never schedule just for the sake of stepping on somebody else. Except maybe one. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. And I apologize for my down mood. I'll try to pep it up as I go. Just when you're a parent, you try to do certain things for your family, and when you fail at it, you beat yourself up if you're me. So, sorry, I found some broken clamps on the floor I'm trying to gather up. Not at all worried though, Stephen, but I know what you're saying. We have Don Lyles. Hello, Don Lyles, over on Facebook. Appreciate you. I'm just going to get going. I'll look over for questions and comments as we go. If you're on YouTube, you won't be able to see Facebook comments. If you're over on Facebook, you won't be able to see YouTube comments. So that's why that's why I read them out loud every time I'm responding to a comment or a question. Dale, if at any point you want in here, again, no pressure. Just let me know. I'll slap you a link there. Appreciate you watching once again. It's 5:46 p.m. Central U.S. time here in Gatesville, Texas. Getting ready to start, I promise. All right, let's go. No order in what I'm cutting. I'm just cutting. So for those that don't know, I did rush quite a bit when I was tracing this piece onto the wood. So when I get to spots that I want to change the cutting versus the way it's drawn, I'll tell you, which is getting ready to happen on my next cut. That way you'll know when I'm accidentally going off the line and when I'm intentionally going off the line. But thank you, Dave. I believe this makes my 15th live stream. Almost in a row. I missed 2 days, but okay, this line right here, hopefully y'all can see it, is a little close to the edge here because I was rushing when I traced it. I may just completely avoid in there because I don't want to break this trying to draw a line in that little bitty area, so I'll just go straight across with the rest of that detail. Okay, Dale, bear with me. I'm going to catch up with the comments and I'll throw you a link. Jason Rogers says, hello from New Hampshire. Been a while since I've been on. Yes, sir, Jason. It's been a long time. Good to see you here. Appreciate you being here. Mimi Lord says, hey, people, I was watching before but fell asleep. Sorry, I'm somewhat awake now, but not sure for how long. I hear you. Thank you, David. Sorry, the only delay now is I'm going to give Dale Kirkwood, Maple Church Studios, the link to the thing so he can read comments and questions or just hang out for a little bit. Control C. So bear with the silence. I hope y'all will stick with me. I will get started within 5 minutes or less. I have to send a link to somebody, and I'm not a good multitasker. Okay, sorry for the silence. Getting Okay, let me close Facebook so I don't get distracted by it. My apologies. Dang it. I accidentally minimized everything. Hello, John. John Hope over on YouTube. Hello, Ken McCrory. Thank you, sir. I think I sent the link over to Dale over on Facebook. I'm going to make this one cut and I'll look over and see if he's waiting to get in, and I will allow him in. Travis Kelly says, not being rude, what are you cutting out? Looks cool. It's a character from the movie Cars. His name is Tow Mater. Most often called Mater. Okay, now you see it. Cool. But I already answered, so we're good. Yep, Tow Mater. Again, I apologize if I'm not my usual chipper, happy self, but I will try to pep that up as I go. Any comments or questions you'll have, please feel free to throw them out there, and I'll look at them between cuts. What I'm doing right now, for those that haven't watched live streams before, I have 21 people watching, is why I'm explaining myself. I have what I call visual comfort when I'm working on somewhat of a straight line, which, although it's not completely straight, it's coming towards me. I like to push the piece away from me as I'm cutting it, even though it's a spiral blade and it cuts in any direction. That is why I do it that way. It's a visual comfort thing, not something that has to be done with spirals. I have to do it this way. If I try to pull it towards me, then I'm basically blocking my view of the line that I'll be cutting. So it's just easier to cut towards myself. So let me go ahead and do that. Really surprised that didn't break inside there, but okay. I will be making some adjustments to these lines as I cut them because I traced them so quickly and got sloppy. Probably should have changed out the blade because it feels a little dull, but it's still usable. But because of that visual comfort I talk about with certain cuts, sometimes the project won't be right side up for the viewers. But I'm not able to do too many different angles on my camera, so I can't flop it to the other side of the table for y'all to see this right side up. So I'm going against my visual comfort to finish this cut. There's that. On this particular cut, it's an old rustic truck, so it doesn't matter if I go off the line a little bit. There's only certain areas that really matter. I may straighten up the next one just a bit. It doesn't feel right. I don't think I have it in the clamp right. There we go. Any questions or comments you have, please feel free to throw them out there, and if they're family friendly, I'll address them. I always try to keep the project a majority in the window, but depending on which way I turn it, some of it can be out of there. And although it's against my visual comfort, a majority of it would be hanging off the table as is, so I'm going to go ahead and do this since it's not a real important cut. I'll go ahead and do it from this side. And if I were to screw this cut up, I would just adjust the cutting, the areas to be cut out around it, but so far we're doing okay. Meaning if I got it too close to another cutout, which I almost did in the beginning. But this other side of the line, I'm wanting to keep a consistent distance away from the top, the cut above it, so I may go a little off the line intentionally. I don't need to go off of it much though, just in one little area. And I always cut to the waist side of the line. Not yet, Josh, but not sure that's a risk I want to take. The finished pieces I do are not being sold. I am rethinking some of that. And yes, I did miss you, Tim. If you mean, do I have trouble designing? No. But whether or not I should be selling them is another issue. I am rethinking that because, you got to respect it. But as far as the live streams, I do it because they are a popular topic or theme. That's for the sake of the live streams. But they all get stacked up. When I'm done, that's pretty much where they stay. So I hope that answers your question. But if I'm being honest with myself and with the viewers, which I always am, I have no good excuse for when I design something that is copyrighted like this. I do it, sadly, because I need the money, but that's not a good excuse. It's still wrong. Okay, there you are. Welcome, Mr. Dale. Let me catch on up with a couple comments. I would like to talk about the football player who did. Okay, Tim. Hello, Dale. You're awful quiet.
So you're sounding a bit quiet, man. What's going on? What's there?
Just feeling like a failure as a parent. I can't get my daughter here.
Oh, okay.
I'm not good at hiding certain emotions.
Okay. Okay.
I thought my daughter was coming, but I'm not able to help her like I thought I would.
Okay, man.
And sorry for it showing. I'm not good at hiding certain things.
No, it's good to know. Good to know.
I will try to pep it up as I go.
Oh, we're gonna do that. We're gonna start with that right away by you hiding me so no one can see my expressions as I'm talking. Otherwise, because we don't want them trying to lip read me and making up their own words as to what I'm saying, because my accent is confusing the shit out of them.
I know. I know that y'all know I'm human, but I still don't like it when I can't hide my emotions enough to just stay,
Cool.
normal. I'll talk to you about it more in private.
Cool.
If you so desire, I don't mind talking about it. Just I don't know if it's.
I'll warn you, I'm on my 4th beer, so this could get crazy.
Oh dear. So if you have any kids watching, get them out of the room because this could get bad.
I promise it will be family friendly. The Adams family friendly.
I hear you.
Cool.
Josh, currently I do, but like I said, I'm rethinking it. I was going to address that before the live stream, but I didn't have time. I am going to take them down so I don't have to wrestle with it. Me needing an income doesn't justify going against copyright laws, and so I'm not going to defend it in any way, shape, or form. There's that.
I need to get onto Facebook so that I can pick this one up too from there.
All right. Steve Neal, and if you're still watching, let me know.
So,
he's watching that Hogsy show. Go ahead.
Jason Rogers says, "What blades are you using? Still Flying Dutchman?"
Yes, Flying Dutchman.
Bought a pack off of Amazon, and he hates them. They twist to the end and don't hold don't hold her in the clamps very well.
Depends on. Okay, there's different things you run into. First of all, they do make flat-ended spirals. That's the ones I get. There are ones out there that twist all the way in, and you have to mess with untwisting them. That can be a pain in the rear. Sorry, I missed that question earlier. These I get flat-ended because they have to go. Most clamping systems have forgiveness when it comes to a little bit of a twist in the end. But even on the flat-ended ones, they don't always line up right for a Hegner clamp, which is very narrow right here. And it's got to be the same direction on the bottom as it is the top. So sometimes you have to untwist the top, but not as severely as the typical twisted spiral blade. So I do specifically get flat-ended because they're not as twisted. I hope that helped. But blade slippage and blade clamps can also be the set screw with a groove in it, or it needs to be sanded flat again. That happens over time. And I know I've been seeing the people talking about copyrights, and so I'm pretty sure that's why Josh is asking this question, or Alexa, whichever, Elisa, whatever.
The main challenge with one of the things that's really important is when it comes to copyright is interpretation of legitimate use and Creative Commons, and there's several licenses out there. If you're making an image, if you're interpreting an image in your own way, and you don't plan to sell that image, then you can absolutely go ahead. You can absolutely go ahead and you can make a copy of it, and you're cutting it for your own personal use, and you're enjoying it. When you're on the tubes, on the tubes. If you're planning to sell these, then again, you're walking into an interest in licensing, but it's an interpretive conversation. There's this little clause called derivative works. Um, um, but they would have to have been an original image of Mater that this was based on, and not just a good hand drawn copy. And that's the challenge with that copyright story. It's quite interesting, quite interesting space. The best thing to do is if you're going to make an image from a pattern. You're going to make a pattern for an image. Make sure you go after one in the Creative Commons license.
Yeah.
You can have a look online, check them out. Mostly, if I'm trying to make an image of something that I can't draw myself, I'll go after Creative Commons. That way, as long as you give credit to the original artist, you can make as many of them as you like.
Yeah, and that is specific as far as giving credit to the original artist. That's specific
Absolutely.
to Creative Commons.
Absolutely.
But I do need to address more specifically. First of all, Jason, I use number 5 primarily most of the time. Not to brush over your comment, I need to make it clear, extremely clear, that I cannot defend that I make patterns like this. I do it because I need the money. That's the only reason, and that's not defendable because that doesn't skirt around the law. Although they're my scroll saw patterns, they're made from copyrighted material, so I'm not going to defend it, sit here and say I'm not doing anything wrong. I am, and I was too arrogant to see past that. I need the money, and that's the only reason I do it. I have no defense for that. That's just the truth. So I will be pulling down the copyrighted patterns. What do you mean, get them, Doug Moore?
Doug's Doug is someone I know.
Oh,
it's he's the question is directed at me.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I don't want anybody out. The reason why I'm saying this on a live feed is because rumors get rampant real easy. I'm not arrogant. I'm not one to say I don't care. I don't care. I do care. I just sadly hopefully my little butt won't be noticed because I need the money, and that's just sad. But yeah, that's the arrogance of it. But I'm not going to say I don't care because I do care. I just like to provide what people want, and I was thinking of me and not the laws. So I will be pulling down all the copyrighted or patterns based off of copyrighted characters and crap. And I'm sorry to say that. Okay. I'm not going to be an excuse maker. I just tell the truth. That's all I do. But one thing I will never do is claim that I came up with an image out of my head if I didn't. So if I ever use somebody's drawing, I will get permission to use a drawing. I will not say that I was inspired to make this by such and such, because if I'm using somebody else's drawing, then I was inspired by the drawing, not by somebody else. I mean, I like a lot of themes, but yeah, I don't know where to continue with that, because there are other copyright issues from the past that weren't necessarily based off of photographs. They were based off of drawings that did not get permission to be used and pass it off as their own. That's part of it that people don't hear. Go ahead, Dale. I can hear you breathing.
No, sir. I'm the microphone's. I'm just it's in that particular part of the world. But no. It's not at all. I'm having. I'm drinking beer while you're talking.
Oh yeah, Doug. I've met you. You're a lathe turner. I'm sorry. I flat forgot the name. Sorry. I remember you. Yeah, I'm that's also playing into my mood is knowing I knew better than to make scroll saw patterns for sale from images like this. But, you know, I'm calling myself out. Nobody else has to. I knew better, and I did it. I haven't gotten caught, so to speak. No legal crap has happened, but I knew it was wrong when I did it, but I needed the money, so I got arrogant and didn't care, and now I care. Not because there's a chance, it's because I know better. So I'm not going to ever float my own boat on that sense. if you have any thoughts or comments or questions, feel free. Same with you, Dale. If you want to talk about anything, go for it. But I don't want any rumors. Well, Charlie doesn't care. Oh, I do care. Anyway,
I mean, like I say, anything. The best advice for everyone on the chat is if you're going to make a pattern, either get it, get, and you haven't created it from your own head, get
yeah,
permission, or state that you couldn't find anyone, just so that there's no issues. The great thing about being on YouTube is that if the original author is unhappy with the use, then they'll reach out and a DMC takedown will occur, and that'll be fine. No one
yeah,
will get in trouble. No one will get in trouble with that. But you should always be careful. Try to give credit where credit's due. And if you can't, just see. Found this image here. Don't know what the story is.
yeah.
Don't know what the story is.
Some of the most strict ones are Disney type people, Harley Davidson, sports,
Absolutely.
and
So Pixar, and Disney in 2007 discovered Creative Commons licensing. So
Yeah.
there is stuff out there, completely okay as long as you're stating the use and the intent and where you source it from. It's okay. So you just need to do a little bit of research and make sure the source you're drawing from is legitimate.
yeah, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, but I would love to be licensed, but it's clearly a money thing, and that's way down the road for me. But licensing does cost money. I'm besides the whole daughter thing, I'm down because I know better. I'm embarrassed with myself.
Josh and Elisa Grover says, I just brought it up because I know several people get into trouble with the Disney over Baby Yoda. The real challenge there is, Josh, is that many people have made the image directly from a digital grab from the show, rather than drawing the image from scratch. What you're doing is you can clearly they haven't created that image entirely naturally. What they've done is they've traced around an image on the screen, but that's okay if what you're not planning to do is sell it. If you're doing it for your own enjoyment, yeah.
But if you're like me, trying to sell a scroll saw pattern because you're an idiot and you need the money and you gloss over the fact that you're taking somebody else's work, I'm an idiot. I'm gonna dog myself on that. Sometimes I try to provide for my dang family over common sense. I am not going to defend it in any way, shape, or form. I know people may forgive me, but I don't forgive myself. But I'll try to. I don't know. Anyway. And I'll try to stop talking about that unless there's a comment or a question regarding it. I'll answer it. But that's that. Go ahead, Dale.
I was only going to say is that how did you get on with King Julian? Did you find the accent from earlier on? Did you manage to get a chance? Did you get a chance to go and listen to it?
Well, and all the errands I had to run, or the errand I had to run, ran long, and the issue with my daughter happened, so I didn't get a chance to do that.
Okay, you got to have a go at it, sir. I think it'll amuse you. I think it will amuse you.
I'm sure it will. One thing I don't want from people is sympathy, at least not pity. I mean, other than the fact that I'm on disability, I don't want sympathy for that. I do the patterns because I love doing them, but also because I want to try to get more of an income so I can get off of disability. And that's why I try so hard to make money, and that's why I always talk about money, because I'm money needy, not money hungry. But I looked above common sense trying to make money, so there's that. I'm going to shave a line. Go ahead and talk if you need to, mister.
I was just going to say, one of the great things is there are a great many websites online, such as Shutterstock, such as Pixabay,
Yeah.
where you can absolutely get access to, for a very small subscription, you get access to images which are free to use, and free to create derivative works from. It's absolutely worthwhile
Yeah, there's
checking those out, guys.
another one called Pexels, Pexels.
Absolutely, absolutely. There are
Now, not
quite
every,
a lot of them.
just to be clear, not every pattern on my website is a
Of
copyright
course
issue,
not.
but I don't know the particulars on a celebrity's image. It may be just as strict as Disney. I don't know. But, I heard my name was brought into a debate about it, regarding all the Clint Eastwood, John Wayne, all that. I don't know the particulars on that, so I'm not going to pretend to.
I think if I recall, and copyright differs around the world. If I recall, again, creating a unique art work, unless you're selling that image and making pots of money from it,
Yeah.
there's a certain amount of, this person is not going to be. You're not putting their cover on a billboard, their picture on a billboard. You're not putting the image in these places. So there's a certain amount of fair use from publicly available images, and I think there's a certain amount of the pattern community does get quite inwardly looking about this, since much of the pattern community is not about creating for their own use; it's about resale.
Yeah, and I'm
And
guilty as charged.
putting them into a magazine and selling magazines and books of patterns. And when you're doing in that kind of level of orchestrated copyright infringement, you get
Yeah.
into trouble. Whereas selling on a website where you're going to sell 5, 6, 10 tops,
Yeah,
it's
well,
less so.
for,
It's less so.
for what it's worth, I'm going to be public about this too. I've sold 2 Frozen projects. This is patterns only.
Mhm.
I've sold 2 Frozens and 1 Baby Yoda, so I will be refunding them their money.
Yeah. Okay.
As soon as I get the money, sadly. But yeah, I'll be doing that. I appreciate everybody's support, but I also need you to understand I like to be able to provide what people want,
course.
and I had that above common sense. But yeah. But as far as these cuttings, I do these for the live streams only. Nobody's
And that's the way to do it. I mean, that's kind of where you want to be in this conversation. These are entertainment pieces for the art, and don't generate any direct revenue.
Agreed, but I keep talking about I have it without the oval, with the oval, and that was me trying to promote having them on my site like an idiot. And I'm not paying attention, so I was pushing too hard. Go ahead. I'll just flip another blade in there.
Cool. Over on the chat, you're getting Jason Rogers says, I have a DeWalt 788. I will check out flat-ended. Thank you. What's your go-to size nowadays?
Primarily number 5. If I need to go a little smaller, I go number 3. I don't go smaller than that on a Hagner because I can't dial the tension right. That's me. It's not the saw.
Sure. Midnight Joker, on holiday this year, I was amazed at how much copyrighted craft items are on sale in gift shops. Lots of Harry Potter, but plenty of others also. Tim Turner says, you're a very honest man, sir. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that, but you don't have to thank me for being honest. I think everybody should be honest. It does no good not to be, but go ahead.
John Hope says, can you run those sites for images for me, please? I'm sure we can put some links in the description after the chat. That'd be awesome. We can certainly do that. But also, you can check out Creative Commons. Do a search in Google for Creative Commons. Some fantastic sites out there that carry images that you can interpret and do what you want. There's about 4 different versions of the Creative Commons license. I know a lot of the material that I seek inspiration from. I'll be looking there first. But most of the stuff I produce, I hand draw.
I used to hand draw all the time until I got into scrolling, and then here I wanted to be the hero. I need to stop downing myself, but yeah, I'm very ashamed.
Yeah, you are. If you down yourself anymore, you become an Australian. Come on.
I know. I'm very ashamed, and I'm not going to. Yeah, I just need to.
You got to put it right, and you're going to be a good guy, and that's all it matters, right?
Yeah, the good guy doesn't keep you from lawsuits, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're gonna be a good guy. You're gonna put it right. You're gonna refund all the money, and you'll be able to move from a position of good. You're moving from the position of nope, not doing anything wrong. Tried to do this, realized it was wrong. put it right. Here's receipts. You know, what I mean, there's no value in Disney going after that kind of conversation. There is if you were sending plushy toys and you were shipping 10,000 of them.
The people I don't like are the ones that blatantly say they don't care. Well, I bought it. I can do whatever I want with it. No, you can't.
Exactly right.
I got to reset the tension.
Off in the chat, they're saying, Tim Turner. Tim, if you aren't a wood turner, you're missing an opportunity. Tim Turner, thank you for being you. Jason Rogers, what wood are you using? What are the differences between quarter-inch Baltic birch, price, quality, rigidity, blade life? Now, I'll step in a little bit on this
All
one,
right.
Charles, while you're getting tensioned up. I use birch, Baltic birch, and I use birch ply quite a bit. When you're using solid wood like Baltic birch, you tend to find that the wood's a little bit softer than plywood. Plywood tends to be harder because it glues and the grain goes in different directions. Wood like Baltic birch will cut quite well and the blade life will be longer. You'll also suffer from less fuzzies per se with solid wood than you would plywood. Plywood has a tendency to have that veneer on the outside will break up a little bit more, a little bit more fluffy, a bit more fuzzies than you would on normal wood. Quarter inch Baltic birch is quite a good material. It's quite stable. I don't think it's particularly thermally challenged, so that when you've cut your piece, it's not going to change shape. But my personal go-to is birch ply. Here in the UK, I buy something called laser ply, which is birch ply, but it's the wood. The wood is clean. The it doesn't contain any particularly nasty chemicals. The glue is safe. So that when you're cutting it, the dust is carrying less chemicals out up into the room. It's quite a safe material to use if you're going to get into it. The other advantage to ply over something like Baltic birch is it's thermally stable. So if you're like Charles and you do quite large pieces, you can get quite large sheets of it, and it's not going to change shape on you when it's hanging on the wall.
Yeah, Baltic birch and birch ply are both kinds of birch, and ply is the most common scroll-throwing wood. The reason why I don't prefer it is because I like just a hint of colorful, pretty grain. But that's why I use maple ply, if anybody's wondering what I use.
Absolutely.
But I need to get a grip on myself so I stop breaking blades. All right.
Hanging out with it. Me, bing, 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 bing. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do, do.
I just hope this ain't one of those live feeds where I'm breaking 7-8 blades. The crap gets old.
I did. I cut Ren and Stimpy the other day on the live, and I broke about 4 on the live because I was cutting into some corners and not paying attention. And every time I didn't pay attention, every time my wife spoke to me in my ear, I snapped a blade every time she said something.
Every time I break the blade, 9 times out of 10, it's because I'm pushing too hard into the blade.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention, and the camera thing was quite jittery. One of the things I've done, which you need to have a look at for the next feed I do, is I've got an endoscope now, a little USB endoscope, which is going to allow me to put very close up to the cut, right down near where the blade is, on a little window, over in the main cut like you're doing. I'm going to try it tomorrow. We'll see how it works out. It might be quite fun. Jason Rogers says, "It's okay, Charles. That's why I'm asking questions." Laughs out loud. But yeah, this endoscope thing might be quite fun, sir. Stick your head around the door tomorrow. Have a look. See what you think. I'll be running from about 2 p.m. UK time, which is really early for you, through to about 4 p.m., which is a bit not quite so late, and not quite so early. Or check it out, but a little window where you're kind of seeing up close to where the blade cuts for the lines, and then the wide shot that you've got. I'm just going to give it a go, see how it works out.
Do you think it? I mean, I know you're doing it to experiment, but do you think it will be able to see clearly up close?
Oh yes, I've already tested it. It's pretty good.
Okay. Well, how would you operate it on a live stream?
So, I use a tool behind the scenes called OBS, which is an OBS. That's all good. It's free. The great thing about this software is completely free.
Yeah,
And
my
then you
ability
connect.
to use programs sucks. I don't learn very.
This one. Trust me on this one, young man. This would be you can work. You can work Paint Shop Pro. You can work this. Trust me. This is really easy. This is really, 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 really easy. Um, um, um,
You can make real time trailers with OBS, like in a.
you can do awesome stuff with OBS, but the basic job I use it for is a bunch of scenes with different cameras and mics, so that I can, like I did the other day when I was standing having a beer, and my wife was remotely changing the camera angles. Um, what that meant was is that you can superimpose other cameras on top of the same feed. So you can have a look at a little window of one of the other cameras looking at the same time. So I won't be controlling the endoscope, it'll be kind of a fixed position. But I'll be
Yeah,
sitting in the corner of the screen. So you've got like a super close up view, which is quite boring, plus the wider view. And we'll
yeah.
try it. It might work out okay. It might also turn out to be a complete nut job of an idea, and I'll can it very quickly.
This may seem like obvious trivia, but do you know why they're called movie trailers?
I do not know. Why are they called
They
movie
used to be
trailers?
shown at the end of movies.
Really? I did not know that.
Now then they moved it up to make them at the beginning of movies. But it's as simple as that. They used to play at the end of movies of other movies that were coming out, and that's why they're called
Coming
trailers.
soon.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da.
In the world. Sorry.
Tim Turner says, "Dang it! I have to make another pot of coffee. I take a drink every time you break a blade."
Yeah, I'm guilty, and I started that dang drinking game. I'm gonna get a lot of people drunk or
I'm glad
overdosed
I'm
on
not
whatever
trying
they're
to keep.
drinking.
I'm glad I'm not trying to keep pace.
Me too.
With beer kind of thing. I'd be getting nailed.
That's one reason I don't drink is I'm afraid I would depend on it too much. That's a little bit serious because if it made me feel better, I don't want to have to depend on it to feel better. So that's just me, not a reflection on drinkers in general. I tend to do a lot of self-improvement attempts. I'm not saying I'm improving. I'm saying I tend to try to fix myself versus depending on other things, but I don't always do it.
Tim says he's going to be up all night. You will be, Tim, if you have all that coffee, sir. You definitely will be. I intend not to be up all night. I intend to go. I've got this beer I'm going to work through, and then I'm going to call it night because I'm over here in the UK. It's 12:30 a.m. But my good friend Charles here needs an earworm to so he doesn't break any more bloody blades.
Oh no,
we can't
I'll
do any
probably
more of
still
that.
break blades. Yes, sir. And I always appreciate when you fellers come on here. Gets a little chaotic with all of y'all here, but
Yeah, basically it's suddenly a case of, oh yeah, we're on Charles' show.
Yeah. But there again, I'm looking forward to the whole Team Scroll Saw thing, so we're good.
Absolutely. I think one of the topics we have to touch on is that image sourcing stuff.
Yeah, most
We need to very gently use it as a topic, because what we don't want to do is spook people who want to create something for themselves.
Yeah, most definitely. We'll have to be clear about stuff like that.
But if you're going to get into you're selling it, if you're going to get into the selling scope, it's a very straightforward conversation. But there is this idea of derivative works, and that's a very important point that gets people into trouble. Is when it's direct copy, they're just breaking the law. But when it's a derivative work, it's a little more grey, and that's something that we're going to have to, and it's different around the world, and that's a really interesting topic.
Well, that and intent can play a part. But I
100%.
guarantee I've seen people saying, "Well, I paid for it; it's mine. I can do whatever I want with it." Same with scroll saw pen, whatever the case. But there's arrogant people out there. If you're arrogant,
100%.
they'll come at you even harder.
Someone will get them into trouble. Yeah, but Randy. Randy's back in the chat. Broken blades. Take a swig of Dr. Pepper.
I'll take a swig regardless.
we need to find a way to get you a little graphic of a Dr. Pepper bottle at the side, so that it goes down a little bit.
Yeah. Take a drink.
Drop it down. Tim Turner. Charles, looks like I need to bring you a case of 2 liters of DP.
I would not turn you down. Ordinarily, I don't take charity or don't like to take charity, but I think I could
Dr.
handle that.
Pepper doesn't count. Dr.
Yeah,
Pepper doesn't count.
that's a requirement. Tommy Mater just popped up.
Right.
Go ahead.
Over on Facebook. Looking good, Charles. Glad you got a check off on the mass. They'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah. For those that didn't see the live stream earlier, got a call from the doctor. The MRI showed that there is no mass in my eyelid or face. We were afraid of that at first, but it turns out it's just swelling. Now they got to figure out why it's swelling, but there is no mass, which means it's probably no cancer or tumor. So that's the good news. I have an appointment Thursday for a follow-up. I have no idea what's going to happen. But the scary part is gone. Waiting and wondering. Still don't know why it's happening, but there's not a mass, so that's a good thing.
So far, so good.
Yeah. And plus, there's people out there that got a lot worse than I do.
And Lisa Grover, instead of life bar, you need a Dr. Pepper bar showing you how much more life you have.
Like on a video game.
Yeah. In case of, you get to the end, it gets to the end of a pattern, it gets to boss level, and gets power up kind of thing.
Well, we've seen what happens when I drain that life bar. We'll run out of Dr. Pepper. Apparently, it makes me want to pass out. I didn't know that.
Yeah, go cold turkey.
That's sadly funny.
Oh, we'll laugh about this in 6 months. I mean, right now it's still about fresh.
I don't mind laughing about it now. It's kind of sad in a way. So addicted to Dr. Pepper that I have a reaction to not having it.
Oh, Andy Hale did his live earlier on tonight, and he gave you a shout out. He had a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper in the video with him, kind of thing. Gave you a shout out straight away.
That's funny.
We took a swig of it, and he said, "Charles, this one's for you."
Yeah. I can think of worse things to be known for.
Well, I've got that whole Jaffa cake thing going on, don't I?
Yeah, I definitely don't hide that I'm addicted to Dr. Pepper, so there's that.
Josh and Lisa Grover, run out of blades if you run out of Dr. Pepper.
No, I hope I don't run out of blades.
I found somewhere in the UK I can buy them quite the Pegasus stuff I like quite cheap. And I use the term cheap in a very broad sense. The word cheap as in not horrendously expensive that it's going to bankrupt me.
Yeah.
It might be the material I'm using, it might be how I'm using the saw, but I seem to be breaking 1 or 2 per big piece. So I'm doing most of my stuff is 24 inches by 16 inches.
Yeah, somewhere. I don't know if it's certain bad batches in the beginning, but certain Pegasus blades are brittle, but they cut.
Oh, dreadful. Yeah, I mean, I actually said to someone, I says, these are breaking in exactly the same spot in every single one.
Yeah, they're brittle, but they're sharper, and sharper is good for some people. But I like the flat-ended spirals, and I'm also loyal to. I tried the spirals. I like this. I mean, I tried the Pegasus. I like the Pegasus, but I found for what I do, I prefer the Flying Dutchman.
One of the interesting things I saw was that the spirals are better for Intarsia, I think, from the limited stuff I've done, because they give you a nice clean line is a defined thing, whereas the skinny, thin number ones I use in the Pegasus world, it's just like someone's drawn a pen over it. There's no real solid differential.
Yeah, but also a lot of Intarsia's sanding and shaping.
It is indeed.
I never tried Intarsia. That's the last thing I need to do is find another hobby.
I'm mucking around with elements of Intarsia, I think would be the phrase I would use. Just to add a little, because of the way I do some multi-layer stuff, I quite like the idea of
Intarsia.
Getting a consistent rounding on some of the layers, I think. Just to soften them down a little bit. I'm not sure. I'm not there yet. There's months and months of messing around, I think, ahead before I decide whether this is a good idea or not.
Yeah.
Out in the chat, Tommy Mita says, where do you order your blades from, Charles?
WoodenTeddybear.com. WoodenTeddybear.com.
WoodenTeddybear.com.
Yep.
Over on YouTube, we have NGun200. Counterfeit, maybe. Hard to tell these days. So many products are fakes. I think that was in the context. So, Mr. Fick, Jason Rogers. To be honest, I'm not worried about images. It's the quality and the cuts I am here for. I love the work. I've always wanted to learn and do better in gun turner counterfeit, maybe in terms of the blades breaking. Hard to tell these days with so many products that are fakes. I hear you. I think mine's are legit, but they just seem to break. These Pegasus number ones were breaking at the same point from the transition from the, I'm going to use the flattened end into the actual teeth itself. There would seem to be there seems to be right at the first tooth. They would break there consistently, again and again and again. I thought I was clamping them up wrong in a Pegasus.
Yeah.
I thought, you go through a whole bunch of, what it's like. You go through a whole set of diagnostic when you're doing them, but they keep breaking in the same place, and you eventually arrive at the conclusion, now there must be something wrong with that batch of 12, and now I can't tell because they're in a tube along with all the other ones I've bought. I'm just going to have to discover them the hard way.
Yeah. Another difference that people aren't used to unless they know about it ahead of time is since the Pegasus are sharper, you have to actually adjust to using them, because if you're used to a blade that takes a tiny bit more to cut with, then you're going to might be pushing too hard with a Pegasus.
100%.
And they're brittle to begin with, but sharper. So that but you also have, they're made of a different material, so you also want to make sure the tension.
The way they're pressed is different too. I mean, an Olsen, which is not, lots of people say different things about Olsens, but an Olsen, it really is a pressed out blade. It has one side that cuts, one side that rasps, and two that do nothing. They are pushed from one side. You can see when they're being made, but the Pegasus are manufactured differently.
Yeah, and different material.
Yeah, very different. Randy out on YouTube says, no, we get him a cap that holds a can with a flex straw so he can take a swig anytime. I'm thinking, Randy, what we need to do is get him a foot pedal with a straw. Then when you push the foot pedal, it kind of squirts Dr. Pepper in his mouth from like a giant...
because that's a good idea. But yeah, I drink out of 2-liter bottles because cans go too quick. I'd be spending more time replacing the cans.
That's it. So what we want to do is we want to get like a can of, we want to get one of those compressed air things and one of those soda fountains that I've got in like pubs and McDonald's, for the free refills. We want to get one of them, but only pumping straight into his mouth. That's what I think would be a good idea, Randy.
Yeah.
Keep him going. John Hope, I ordered my last blades titanium from Judy Gale Roberts site and got caught with import duty of £14 into the UK, which is a new thing. John, if you're in the UK, there's a few places on eBay that are proper organizations that sell the blades, that import them. They're already pre-imported. I buy most of my Pegasus online. While we're waiting for Charles to devour yet another bottle of Dr. Pepper, I'll have a quick look for the name of the organization, and you can do a bit of a look for this. He says logging into his YouTube and looking for his orders and all this stuff.
Yep.
As you do, purchase history. That's the ticket. Yeah. So the company I buy them from is in Liverpool. They're called Power Tool Center. They're really good. They're kind of overnight, kind of next day sort of thing. Ship them with, they ship them pretty much anywhere in the UK, and it's free. For a pack of 12 of the Pegasus ones I buy, it was costing me £3.25. Which is extremely good value for the Pegasus legitimate ones. Look them up on eBay. Company's called Power Tool Center. Now they've probably got an external website, which you'll be able to check out, but they've definitely got a store called Power Tool Center. They're based out of Liverpool, Merseyside in the UK, so feel free to go and have a look. Legitimate company, proper VAT number, proper company registration. They aren't going anywhere. Most of the packs of blades, Pegasus ones, are selling for around the £3.50 mark. Although they carry quite a lot of other ones, so it's worth checking them out. Over on Facebook, Over on Facebook, John and Josh says Dr. Pepper IV. It's funny you should say that, Josh and Lisa. We were thinking about that the other night when Charles took poorly.
Yeah.
I mean, we get the, 911 turn up, not with a defibrillator. They turn up with a bottle of Dr. Pepper and a funnel.
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised to find out Dr. Pepper is actually part of my bloodstream or my blood type. I'm getting ready to turn this piece around for that visual comfort, so I'm going to stop it. Although there's not much left in the cut, but
Tommy Mado says he gets his blades from QTE North in America. Good prices on blades. John Hope says cheers for that, which I think is the eBay thing. But please look, John, check it out. It's good stuff. They're good company. I need to order some more because I'm breaking a bunch of them right now.
yeah.
Tomorrow's Alien will be the big test. It's getting cut.
What time is that U.S. Central Time?
So I'm not sure. So if you can imagine, it's 1 hour earlier than I normally air.
I don't remember that either because I've slept since then. I suck at.
Yeah. So if it's 2 p.m. in the UK and it's 6 hours adrift, it's going to be what? And around 8 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Yeah. I'm doing it 1 hour earlier because I have it's kind of a pop-up one. It's not the usual time I would do.
Yeah.
Not the usual day I would do. I'm going to be cutting this particular piece anyway. It's a bit of a Christmas present for someone.
Yeah.
So I figure what the hell. I'll run the session. I don't have an earworm for it, so I'll be reading the comments a bit like your good self, sir, kind of as I'm on the hoof. So
Yeah.
it's kind of watch me cut, guys, and don't ask me too much because I won't be listening. I don't
have a set schedule. I probably should, but I don't. I'm just, I'll try to give 30 minutes to an hour notice. But tomorrow,
I get so wound up doing it.
If I'm awake tomorrow morning, I'll watch her live feed and then probably do my own. But later in the day, more I'll be doing family stuff. Still trying to get my daughter here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Tommy over in the chat says, so it's Christmas Eve already in the UK. It is indeed, Tommy. It is indeed.
I'm trying to explain the daughter situation without getting too specific because I don't want my intention to be taken wrong by talking about it. Especially financial. But the thing about it, I mean, part of the reason is because I don't have it to give her to get here, but also because I can't borrow from somebody because I can't pay it back. And I don't like to borrow anyways. I've been known to do it before, but it's not a good habit to be in. And I know we talked about super chats in the past, and that's always appreciated, but super chats aren't in real time. They go to your AdSense, so you get it later, which is obviously appreciated, but I'm not trying to feed any of that. I'm just explaining what the deal is with my daughter. I didn't know this until today. That's why it's so last minute, and that's why I stressed out and feel like a failure as a parent, but it is what it is. And that's just me being too much of an open book and being honest. I'm not good at hiding things unless it's a secret, private thing. That made it sound like I can't be trusted. I am good at hiding things if I need to for the sake of keeping someone's trust, but I never deceive people in doing that. Here, Dale breathing into the mic.
With the scrolls off. It's one. I'm not on my usual mic. I think that's what you're hearing, which means
I,
it's up further. It's further up, closer to my nose, I
yeah,
think.
I was just messing with you.
It's all
Yeah,
good, though. Don't worry about it.
yeah.
So we have some comments out and things. So young Tommy wished me a Merry Christmas. Not yet, Tom, but thank you so much. Over on YouTube, we have Randy was talking. So we ordered Last Blades. Cheers for that. So John Hope says he does like Flying Dutchman blades too.
Yeah, I believe a gross is what they call it, is 12 dozen blades. I try to get that when I order.
12 dozen.
Yeah, 144 blades. You'll get a little bundle wrapped in a little bitty wire. That's a dozen
12 blades.
blades, and you'll get 12 sets of those. That's a gross. You can get half gross. I don't know if they sell them any less than half a gross. I don't know. That would be 6 dozen packs of 12.
I'm just doing a look for that because I'm buying them in individual 12s right now. Individual 12s, packs of 12 right now.
Yeah.
I just don't know if so I've not come across that. I came across it in the Olsen blade. I haven't found it in the Pegasus. 144 blades US. So
break
that
way
comes
too
in
many
the
blades
US.
to only buy 12 at a time.
Yeah.
But if you ever see me start saving the ones that are just dull but not broken, that's because I don't anticipate being able to buy any more blades for a while. So they're my emergency backups.
Can't find anyone in the UK that sells them that way. I'm gonna have to look around. Might not be called a gross of blades over here. It might be called something else. Yeah, they're keen to sell. So I found a place that sells the same blades for £2.50 though. I might pay attention to that.
Yeah, and
12 blades per pack.
For no other reason other than a better price, QTE sells Pegasus blades. I don't know where they ship, where they don't. I do have a former sponsor that sells them, but they're more expensive, and I don't want to give business to that former sponsor because the particular owner I don't like, and that is personal. But I'm not going to misdirect. If his prices were better, I'd say so, but the better prices on Pegasus are QTE. That's on Pegasus blades. You can get Flying Dutchman from either Wooden Teddy Bear or mikesworkshop.com, and I think lesliespatterns.com. That's the only places I know of to get them, but I don't know everything. I hear you, Tommy. He was saying he wishes they made flat-end spirals for Pegasus.
I thought they did. I'm sure I've got some. I'm sure I've got some flat end spirals. I might be wrong. I might be wrong in that. I've got some spirals by Pegasus. I'm sure they were. I'd have to check.
Now, see, sadly, Pegasus got the brunt of my despised view of the owner of said company, of my former sponsor. But because he's the one that introduced me to them, and I'm only talking about blades, not all products, I refused to do business with said person, so I just went back to what I knew.
And I found a supplier for who sell 6 dozen and 12 dozen of the Pegasus stuff, but they're they're in, I don't know how I would describe it. They're in a packaging that has me sort of suspicious. I feel
they look counterfeit, or
the Pegasus stuff comes with a nice little bit of card, a nice sealable top usually. These ones are quite, they've got that. Are you absolutely sure about this kind of thing? They just don't look. They don't have the. We don't have the we're a quality product kind of look to them, if that makes sense.
If you're talking about what looks like a photocopied sticker for a label, that is out there. It just depends on the distributor of the Pegasus blades, but they are legit because my former sponsor sells them that way, and that's the only reason I know that. The blades are legit. I can't speak for the companies.
Yeah, I'm not, like I said, they just have that sort of. I'm not totally sold on that. That might be okay, but I'm not sold.
Yeah. Well, it's your comfort level that matters.
Yeah.
If it don't feel right, most of the time it isn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, isn't it? You just have a look at it and you think, "Oh, you look a bit." So, John, where do you buy the gross of blades? Where do you buy your gross of blades from in the UK?
That's another thing we need to address in Team Scroll Saw is because of that wide audience. We need to research what is available in the U.S., what's available in the UK, what's equivalent to another, blah blah blah. Don't you reckon, sir?
Yeah, I think the great thing is we've kind of got the so the challenge is the broader Europe more so than I think than
US and UK.
US and the UK. I think from between myself and JP, not the UK, from Mike's workshop. Okay. So I think we can cover a good crack at the UK, and certainly we can cover a good crack at the US. A little less clear in Canada, but it should be broadly in line. But Europe itself, challenging. Australia, all bets are off.
Yeah. Some companies will ship worldwide, some won't. So I don't know which ones will.
I will warn you, sir, that I'm approaching that time of the night where I have to bail. I mean, I'm beginning to struggle to string my words together.
Well, I am too, but I'm dead sober. I'm an idiot sometimes.
I haven't got. This is not beer. This is good old fashioned. It's nearly 1 a.m.
Yeah.
We'll hang in for another little bit, and then I'll say my goodbyes.
I found 2 more pilot holes I missed, so that means there are 214 cuts in here because I was counting pilot holes, but I missed 2 more. Dagnabbit. Go ahead.
I was going to say something. I actually wound up to say something that was far more enthusiastic, I think would be the phrase I was going to use for the purchase. For the Dagnabbit, I think it was far more
offensive.
Bother. I think it was kind of bother. I feel I was going for,
Okay.
Bother. My word. Etc.
If I do a live stream tomorrow, I'll make sure it's after yours, because I support you. And
I'm going to be really early in the morning for you, sir. I mean,
7 or 8 a.m. isn't real early.
I'm going to be really, really early for you. Like I say, don't worry about it too much. I mean, from my perspective, this is just I'm going to be cutting this particular piece tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm not a mod in your chat. I'm going to try and send this guy this link to this company.
Okay, 7 or 8 a.m. isn't real early for me. I mean, I keep weird hours, so I'm usually awake around that time. Sometimes I'm not, but if I'm awake, I'll watch it, and then I'll make sure I start my live stream after it instead of during it, just because I want to support you, not because I'm worried about people being hurt. But also, later in the day, I'll be more focused on Christmas family crap. That makes it sound real endearing, doesn't it? I'll be
Christmas
doing
family crap. Yes, sir. It does a bit.
Later in the day.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, I should be done in about an hour and a half, 2 hours tops. This one's a good. This is exactly the kind of artwork I like to create. More color, solid shapes. I'm quite looking forward to the opportunity to cut this one because it's a little different. Kind of more like the Joker in terms of the way I'm approaching it.
Yeah.
I did. So it'll be quite interesting to see how it comes out. This is kind of lessons learned across 2 or 3 pieces. I want to try and fold it into the live stream because there's some things in the live stream I'm going to avoid doing. Certain types of stuff. Over in the chat, we have Randy saying, when using Flying Dutchman flat blades, I keep a whetstone handy. I gently round over the back edges to make sharp turns easier. Less burning and breakage. A tip from Mike M. And John Hope says eBay, which is from the piece I sent over to him.
Josh and Alyssa are saying, do you use a battery drill? No, I use a corded drill until the scrollers drill is available from Seiko.com.
So I took delivery of so yes, the Seiko mini drill looks really cool. I kind of follow the Sterling Davis sort of way of doing this. So I have a Dremel router, plastic router, plunge router. And today, early Christmas present from the wife, I got a Dremel 88,100 a battery powered Dremel, which so you can kind of got the best of both worlds. You've got that ability to do the very precise cuts and use that plunge router piece, and the flexibility of being on battery.
I have a drill press, but I can't fit most of the pieces I do within capacity.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail right on the head. So I've got an outstanding drill press, and it's all good until you kind of catch the throat of it. I had the Samurai Warrior that I was cutting is 36 inches wide by 24 inches, and I just can't fit it underneath it. So you've kind of got to come at it a different way.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the scrollers drill. I mean, I know I could go Dremel, but I support Seiko.com. They not a sponsor. I just support
those guys.
I'll try to get it through there. Yeah.
John Hope says he's off for the night. Good night, John. Look forward to seeing you back. Remember, if you're bored tomorrow afternoon, I hope Charles won't mind us. If you're bored tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m., look up Maple Tree Studios and see if you think I'm any good at what I'm doing.
I don't mind at all. I support people putting their stuff out there. I don't. This show isn't about me. It's just sharing what we do. What was I working on when it broke right there?
You were working on a scroll saw picture.
Well,
I realize that's not helpful, but
that narrows it down. I wasn't going to go in the kitchen and try to figure it out, but yeah. I'm breaking way too many blades tonight. I'm probably just letting crap get to me too much.
Yeah, it's always the challenge with like I say, for me, for me, mine was definitely running the saw slow to avoid camera shake. Meaning I have to push a tiny bit more aggressively than I would like.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just chewing through blades. The ones that I'm breaking legitimately, but the biggest ones were all breaking in the same place again and again and again. Kind of one of those, you've lost me. How did that break? Will that be on Facebook? It'll be on Charles. I'm being asked if I can paste the link. Can I paste the link?
You don't have to ask, absolutely, because I appreciate you asking. But I support people advertising their.
Allow me to flick a link into the chat there for you, John. As soon as hello, was that the Duke of?
Goes by Maple Tree Studios on.
Just gonna get there. Hopefully, real quick, folks. Please hang in there till I.
Please stand by.
You're in a queue. You're in a queue. Your request is important to us. We will get to it real soon. So, hopefully, John, let me know if you can see this link in the chat. And for those over on Facebook, just in case. Tommy over in Facebook says he uses the Dremel plunge router too.
Yep.
I think it works okay. It's a pretty good. It has a couple of quirks that I would like to change. But that's why I'm going to watch this from Seiko. I'm going to watch their scrollers drill real close to see what kind of comes up.
Yeah.
Josh and Lisa Grover said, "Got it, Dale. Thanks." That's because they posted a link. Sorry. Brain in neutral. Okay. John, let me know if you managed to pick that one up. We think the run tomorrow will take about an hour and a half to 2 hours tops. And we'll hopefully be doing some coloring and some final layup in the same piece, like we did with the Joker. Bit of an experiment. We'll see how it works out. And if we get it finished in time, it's going to be a gift for someone. As most of my stuff tends to wind up, I tend to gift it to folks. I was looking for Pegasus flat-ended scroll blades because I bought some somewhere. I'm sure I did.
I didn't know they offered flat-ended.
I might be absolutely full of, as the saying goes, on this one. But I did buy some Pegasus spirals, and I'm in the back of my head. I'm thinking, I'm thinking they were flat-ended. I might be completely wrong though.
Well, you're never wrong, Dale.
Sorry.
You're never wrong.
Oh no, I'm frequently wrong. In this case, I might be completely wrong.
You're mistaken sometimes, but never wrong.
Oh, I'm definitely wrong.
We're gonna
Definitely
pretend
wrong.
those mean two different things.
John, I can't paste the link into the. If you want to, so if you go into, I can't paste the link in. It would have to be Charles, but we have posted it into the Facebook Live. For Charles, it's definitely there. If you go to YouTube/Maple Tree Studios, it'll show up tomorrow. But usually we just publish the link out. I don't think it should be in the lives section of that. I don't get to see it at my end, I'm afraid. I have to log out. But please, Olson has flat-ended spirals. Tommy says you're absolutely right, Tommy. I'm hunting for Pegasus.
Okay, if you look on your screen and grab a pen, there's the link on the screen for the what he's wanting to lead you to. I don't know how to copy and paste because when you hover over a comment, it only gives you the ability to show or hide. So that's the best.
If I was a moderator in your chat, sir, yeah, if I was a moderator in your chat, if you right click on my name inside the studio, I think, or inside the chat, I think you can make me a mod, and then I can add. And I'm on YouTube. Best thing to do, John, is subscribe to my channel. Hit that little bell, and you'll get a notification tomorrow just before we go live. But it's at 2 p.m. tomorrow. So youtube.com/Maple Tree Studios, and you'll be able to find us. I'm totally taking over this as an advertising piece.
No,
so.
that's fine. I don't know why I don't see anything that allows me to make you a moderator, much less way to.
I'll show you. I'll show you another time, sir, when we have more time. Meantime, I'm gonna have to head up to bed before my wife, so that when I go into the bedroom, she doesn't scream. She doesn't scream, thinking it's a strange man in the bedroom. So I'm gonna head off to bed, folks. Charles, as always, a pleasure, sir. Look forward to catching up with you tomorrow.
I appreciate you being here, sir.
Everyone in the chat, have a great night.
All right, be good. Much obliged for you being here.
You showed me on screen again. Ew.
Close your shirt. Oh my god.
Catch up with you guys later. Cheers. Bye bye.
Be good. All right, y'all are stuck with me now. I talk funny, but it's on purpose. On him, it's just natural. All right. Depending on my sleep schedule, I will try to do a mid-morning live feed, but I can't promise any times after that later in the day because of it being Christmas Eve. Anytime I'm at home and able to get free time, I will do live feeds. I know not everybody celebrates the holidays, and not everybody will watch the live feed during the holidays. But if I can, I will, just in case somebody needs something to watch, if nothing else. Arnell Media and I need to get with you after my live feed, Steve, Nealon. I wish I'd have had a little more time before the live feed. I do talk redneck. I talk all kinds of weird voices, but yeah, probably mainly redneck. Actually, since you messaged me and told me what to do, Steve, I probably don't have to get a hold of you. But if I do, I will. No, Josh, I do not have a vacuum system with my saw. Cannot afford it, but it's a good thing to have. I just use a brush and brush stuff off every now and then. Dr. Pepper's calling. If anybody has any questions or comments, please feel free to throw them out there. I'll respond to any ones I see, unless they're not family friendly. Good Lord. See, that's what happens. Another thing when I pull instead of push the piece. Man, I'm just on a roll tonight, I swear. I think that's where I want it. If not, we'll find out the hard way. Yeah, for some reason I break, besides pushing too much, or pushing the blade too hard, sometimes pulling it will make it break, and I don't know why. Maybe I've just lost my touch. I have no idea at this point. Josh asks, where do you find good 1/4-inch maple plywood for your pieces? I get mine from just a second, I'm about to yawn. I get mine from Ace Hardware and Lumber in Alvin, Texas, or Pearland, Texas, and a friend of mine works there, so he brings it to me after I've ordered it. I know that doesn't help you much, but that's where I get it from, just for the sake of answering your question. Not every most of y'all know this, not every Ace Hardware has a lumber section. But that particular location used to just be called Pearland Lumber, and they got in some kind of deal with Ace, and that's why they have lumber there. Yeah, Home Depot and Lowe's wood is total crap for scrolling. Tommy Mater says, will y'all be cutting Team Scroll Saw or talking about techniques, practices, and equipment? That would be both, Tommy. Sweet, put you to work. Yeah, we'll be covering all kinds of stuff. We'll be doing live streams on locations if we can, and doing just talking, but it'll be a little mix of everything. With everything being so hectic around the holidays, that's why we're not trying to iron out the details and get it started before the holidays. So that's why you haven't heard too many details yet. Putting my hand like this so I can avoid vibrating loose any brittle pieces. Although it should be okay, but Yeah, the Hegners are pretty pricey. I got lucky. I found a guy that was willing to take payments, and it was a while back.